Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. My name is Tom Tobin, president of the club, and we're thrilled to have you join us today. This meeting broadcast is available on HCTV as well as our Rotary of Hudson YouTube channel. Our club meets weekly at Laurel Lake for breakfast on Wednesday mornings from 7:15 to 8:30. Come out and join us for a meeting. We would love to have you as a guest. To learn more about Rotary, our club, and the impact we're having on our local community and the world, visit our website, rotaryhudson.org. Enjoy the meeting today and help us share the message that Rotary connects the world.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson, and welcome to all of our guests watching. This is probably our biggest attendance we've had. So good morning to all of you. The invocation this morning is by Liz Ramsey.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you and hear you. Let's bow. Our great and awesome God, who is with us during this pandemic of a hurting world, we thank you and ask for protection for our leaders and wisdom for our president. The whole world was shut down, and it is with interest we are watching as we wait for healing to occur. Help us to shine and be an example to others during this time. We pray for the world to turn to Him. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 And now to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, Jay Yard.
Good morning, everybody. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
And now the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it
Fair to all concerned.
Third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. And now either our president, Tom Tobin, or Dan Williams.
No, I'll just pick it up here for a moment. I would also like to extend a good morning and welcome to all of the Rotarians and all of our guests this morning, including remote guests, family members of scholarship awardees that ordinarily we don't even have, or sometimes we're not even able to attend our meetings. So I'm thrilled that we're able to use this technology to include them this morning as well. We have a lot to go through this morning, so I'm just going to turn it over to Dan Williams and the scholarship team at this point to take things over. Thank you.
Thank you, President Tom. I guess we're ready to go. This is one of my most favorite meetings of the year. I say that every year, but it just keeps getting better and better. This year is a little different due to the virus, but we will enjoy this new experience using Zoom. Remember that we give 6 scholarships, each worth $3,000 for the freshman year. Every year I say it's very hard to pick just 5 or 6 students to receive the scholarships since the pool of applicants is so good. That's definitely true this year. We started with 21 applicants and eventually narrowed it down to the 6 you will meet today. Unlike most years, we were not able to personally interview each person. Instead, your committee, composed of Ron Strobel, Catherine Sines, and myself, based our decision on the written applications, including recommendation letters, autobiography, academic record, and service activities. Just a word about the format today. Each student will be introduced by a teacher who has significantly influenced them during their Hudson career. Then the student will tell us about themselves, including their background and what the future looks like for them. At the end, I hope we have some time for Q&A. Well, with that brief introduction, why don't we get started? Our first scholarship winner is Fatima Mahmood, and she is going to be introduced by Kathy Silfiligus, I hope that's close, who's an AP chemistry teacher. Kathy, it's all yours.
Good morning. Thank you. It is Svilagoi, but it was close enough. And, no, it is good. Good.
Sorry about that.
That is fine. Thank you. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. My first opportunity was a few years ago when we actually got to meet face to face. And so I was super excited when I got the email that I've been asked to join again. Today, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce Fatima to you. I met Fatima, sorry, I get weird things going on my screen there. I met Fatima about 3 years ago. She's a student in my AP chemistry class. And for those of you that know anything about AP chemistry, it's really not that kind of class where a student is looking through the curriculum guide and they flip the pages and they go, oh, AP Chem, I think that sounds like fun. It is one of those classes that you have to want to take that challenge. It is a 1 year worth of college chemistry. And Fatima, she stepped to the plate. And the first thing I noticed is she was really young. And so I inquired, I said, is this the right placement? Is there a better place so Fatima could be successful, which is always a teacher's goal. And at that point, I learned that Fatima was a sophomore in what is traditionally a junior and in most schools, a senior level class. And I was told, yep, she's ready to go. And I said, okay, how much chemistry background does she have? And I was told none, but that's okay. She's going to be okay. And you know what? To my great pleasure, she was quite successful all year. She worked hard. She came to class every day with this attitude of, I'm going to learn. And it's okay if I make a mistake. And it's okay if I don't know what's going on today, because tomorrow it's going to be a better day. And we came out the other end. We came through the AP test, and she was super successful. And so at that point, as a teacher, I had to step back and say, what made her so successful? Because surely it wasn't what I was doing in the classroom. There was something else that was going on. And I kind of remember back to day one when she was, her family had moved from Kentucky to Hudson, and we were talking about her placement. And I questioned, was AP chemistry really the right placement for her? And her family, I'm going to talk a couple of F words here. Family, big one is her family said, we're going to help her through that. We're going to be beside her. We're going to support her. And it was shocking because it wasn't just Fatima saying, I'm going to do this. It was her entire family, which brings me to my second F word, which is faith. Faith is really, really strong in the Mahmood family. And it's that family and faith that mesh together. I don't really think we can have one without the other. And it was by having that supportive family and faith that Fatima was able to succeed. And I guess I'll finish with my third F word, which is friends and friendship. Over the 3 years, Fatima has made numerous friends through the Hudson community. She's excelled. She has participated in 13 AP classes. She participates in Makerspace. She's always looking for a way to make the world a better place, not just for her and her family, but those around her. And she continues to do that, and her family continues to do that as they help other family members as they move to the United States, into the Hudson area, to help them come together and join the community and be an active part of this Hudson community. So I know it was a little long. I apologize. I'm just so excited. I do want to introduce Fatima Mahmood.
Fatima?
Hi. Thank you so much, Mrs. Spilligoy, and it really means a lot to me that you were able to come and introduce me. And I'm extremely honored to have been selected as a recipient of the scholarship. And I want to thank you for really supporting me through my sophomore year. It was difficult moving in, and you really helped me. And you were such a dedicated teacher that I'm honored to have been able to have you introduce me here. You made sure that, like, along with all the juniors and seniors in the class, that I was comfortable in every single way possible. And you helped me after school hours, before school. I would come to school at like 7 a.m. sometimes, and you were always ready to help me, which I really, really appreciate. So my future plans are that I want to pursue pre-medicine or and major in biology, and possibly also in pharmaceutical sciences, because I love chemistry due to Mrs. Filigoy. And I'm going to do my undergraduate at The Ohio State University, and I might also pursue a minor in Spanish because I love to connect with other people, and I speak English and Urdu normally, so I really love being able to include other people from different backgrounds and ethnicities, and I think Spanish is a great way for me to do that and also help other people, like as a doctor in the future. And again, I want to thank you so much for the scholarship. You truly, your generosity has inspired me to keep giving back to the community and continuing my community service even into college. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Fatima. And I know you will really enjoy Ohio State. I have a granddaughter who's a junior down there, and she just loves it. And Jamie knows her. So our second scholarship winner is Cindy Snyder. And Cindy is going to be introduced by a person that all Rotarians are pretty familiar with, since he comes to many of our meetings, and that's Jamie Cosman. Jamie?
It's super weird to say good morning, Rotarians, and not be able to hear you say it back. Thank you so much for having me and for welcoming all of us. And I do want to introduce Cindy Snyder, who is just a great, great kid. And as I got to know her throughout the year, I really enjoyed getting to know her even more and more as the year unfolded. What I really about her the most, though, or kind of what helped for me set her apart, was at the mid-semester Random Acts of Kindness project, which a couple of you probably even saw. I realized, or she revealed, that she and her partner, in order to help out others, had actually started a GoFundMe and raised over $500 to donate to Access Women's Shelter, because that's kind of where their project took them. And I was absolutely blown away by this. And that's kind of what let me know that Cindy really is truly special, that she cares so much about other people, that she's willing to go the extra mile. And she'll also acknowledge she's can be slightly awkward. It's a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, and I think she uses it well. And I think that awkwardness helps her actually make connections, because it makes her seem just a little bit more real, a little bit more human. And I was also lucky enough to see her volunteer. She was actually at Ledgeview Elementary School, and she was with Mrs. Kearns. And the first time I went there, it was right before a class change, so everything was busy. Kids were running around all over the place. And she looked a little bit frazzled, and she told me that she actually had a migraine, and I couldn't believe it, because here she is dealing with all these little kids running around with a migraine, and yet you would have had no idea, other than that she looked probably a little bit more tired than the average teacher does at that time of day as the class change starts. But the other moment that I really appreciated was they invited me, the second time I went, they invited me to stay for lunch. They did this coolest thing where they would take 3 or 4 students and they would have them come in during lunch, and it was all the teachers, and then we had Cindy and Evan there, and the two of them, and they just sat there and ate lunch with these kids, and talked about their day, talked about their family lives, their hobbies, and all the things they liked. And the kids rotated. So at the end of the semester, they would have seen each kid and had that experience. And I thought, what a cool way to really highlight these kids and get to know them. These teachers giving up their time, Cindy and Evan giving up their time. But what a cool thing to do, and just the impact that something like that can have. And Cindy and Evan being willing to sit there and be role models throughout it was really cool. And then in addition, Cindy's second semester site was actually a lot more challenging for her. And I think it really pushed her out of her comfort zone. She was at Hattie Larlam's. And I don't know if the Rotarians remember when she shared a little bit about that a couple months ago when she came to the meeting. But she was very uncomfortable, and it's probably, in my opinion, our hardest site to be at. And yet she went in there and she embraced that discomfort. When she was sitting there and working with people who can't communicate, people who are nonverbal and are wheelchair bound and can't communicate, it's hard. It's a tremendous challenge. And to not be able to receive that feedback and know that you're making that human connection is a real challenge. And I give Cindy all the credit in the world, because she kept pushing and kept pushing. She showed up. She did those small things that are so important as a community servant, and just continued to do that throughout her time there. And she actually made some really strong relationships. She her one friend, she found out through yes and no questions, really likes the color blue, and she has those blue llamas, or she created a craft project with blue llamas and on blue grass with a blue sun, and it was just kind of a really cool moment to hear about. The other thing Cindy did that I thought was so cool was at the end of our friendship unit, our kids it was a friendship and relationship unit we did in contemporary issues in English. And our kids were really feeling like they wanted to bond even better. You know, Cindy was pretty instrumental in helping arrange a get together at Canes. If only people could go and get together at Canes right now, how nice something so simple would be right now. And they sent us a picture. Everybody was smiling and laughing, and the group there was not the people you would have expected to be together, and it was so cool to see. And the last little bit I'll share about Cindy is I love how open she is. She would walk into second period English every day with this gigantic smile on her face. Wait, it wasn't a smile. It was actually a yawn. It was a little bit early, so I'm kind of curious how much she's yawning right now. But she would push. She would go and meet everybody in the class. And it was just really cool to see from her. She's somebody I definitely know is going to make Rotary proud. So thank you for letting me introduce her.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cosman, and thank you for coming on. I've only yawned like twice maybe, but we're doing okay. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate receiving the scholarship. It's going to help a lot next year. And I wanted to thank Mr. Cosman again also for just the opportunity to be in service learning, because I loved the community and all the teachers. They were so supportive during the whole year, and it helped me, my love for community service grow even more, because I would do service with my church. That's where I was involved most this year. But being in that class just really helped me to be more open and a little bit less awkward, hopefully, but probably not. So I just want to say thank you. But for my future plans, I will be attending The Ohio State University next year. And I plan to major in biochemistry and stay on the pre-med track. So hopefully, plan right now is dermatology, but we'll see where I go, but definitely somewhere in medicine, because I really enjoyed sciences all through high school. So I just want to say thank you again, and thanks for having me. It's nice to see you all again.
Well, thank you, Cindy, and good luck in your pre-med. That's two of our first scholarship winners, you notice, are going into medicine. Well, let's go to our third winner. It's Abby Silcox, and she also will be introduced by our service learning teacher, Jamie Cosman. Jamie, you're up again.
Thank you. So good morning, Rotary. So of course, my dog just decided to jump on the couch. We just got her on Friday. Sorry about that. To say that Abby is a gifted and dedicated community servant is, it's kind of like saying I'm a little bit disappointed that March Madness was canceled, that I missed my teams just a little bit, and that I only sort of want to see a baseball game right now, an Indians game right now. It's true, but it doesn't give the depth or the breadth of who Abby is. So I'll say it better. Abby, quite simply, is one of the most gifted and talented and dedicated community servants that I've seen in my time with service learning. It's just quite honestly true. During her first semester, she volunteered at Kent UDS, Kent United Disability Services, and she had such an impact there. When I got the chance to go see her, one of her friends, Alex, and he's in a wheelchair, and he can be hard to understand, but he can communicate pretty well. And she's over there working with Alex, and he is just loving attention. They're just talking and laughing and doing some crafts together. And I walked over, and Alex remembers me from the last time I was there, which was true, which was honestly like years ago, and starts asking about every service learning student who's ever been there, and the service learning teachers, and checking in to see how everybody's doing. And after, as I was about to leave, he kind of whispered to me that Abby was one of his favorite volunteers that has come in. And so just knowing that her service is definitely recognized by virtually everybody who sees her. During the second semester, Abby was at Evamere Elementary School. And talk about something as simple as, so her site was actually, she was with another student, and they were there to help kids play outside better, learn how to play together outside, learn how to play on the playground and play different games and that kind of stuff. Really encourage them to be active. Talk about another thing we took for granted. And also, since Abby was there in the middle of the winter, it's just great timing with Northeast Ohio weather. I know Abby was really looking forward to being there in the spring when things warmed up, and that's kind of when this all took over. And that kind of leads me to just how impressive Abby is. So COVID-19 comes in and kind of turns our lives upside down, and Abby continues to be and continues to go above and beyond as a community servant. She started the Akron Canton Food Bank, and where we were bottling up Purell, which at the time we could have sold for obscene amounts of money, but Purell for them to give out to everybody who needs it, who can't afford it. She also then started coming to Kent Social Services, which at the start of this and before all of this would have had an in-house dining room meal, a hot meal served each day for lunch. When we started going there with Abby and several other students, it switched to a pickup of a hot meal, and it has since switched to a delivery of a hot meal. So we've seen that all change very, very quickly. And Abby shows up regularly with a smile on her face, and even beneath that mask, you can tell that her smile has lit up her face too. They absolutely love her. They look forward to her coming. And when we were still in school, the other thing that sets Abby apart is we offer a lot of extra opportunities for service. And the first semester, it seemed like Abby was at every one of them, whether it was at First Glance, babysitting kids so that teenage moms could take classes, or whether it was Access Art Therapy, where she really got to show off her art skills. She's also a gifted and talented artist. But it's her smile, and if there's one reason I'm happy that we're doing this over Zoom instead of in person, it's because if we were in person, she would have a mask on and you wouldn't be able to see her smile. You will get to see her smile, and it's going to light up the Zoom session. I can't actually see her; she's not on my screen right now, but I'm guessing she's smiling for those who can see her. she's just a truly dedicated, truly talented student, talented artist. She's an athlete as well. But above all else, she really lives the motto of service above self. She really, truly does. She's overcome a lot of hardships, and she's used the opportunity to help others, to really help herself and push herself through. I have no doubt she's going to make Rotary absolutely proud.
Well, thank you, Mr. Cosman. Thank you for coming on this morning. Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning, Abby.
I just want to thank you all for this scholarship. I'm so incredibly grateful for it and for all of you. So thank you so much. I have loved being a part of service learning this year. I've always loved volunteering, but service learning kind of just gave me that opportunity to explore and to meet more people. And so it's truly been amazing. And one thing I do want to share at Kent UDS, which was my first semester site, Mr. Cosman talked about Alex. I created an incredible relationship with him. But someone else I also created a great relationship with. And he loved art, and I also love art, and it kind of like made me want to go into the art education, art therapy route, which is what I'm planning on doing in the future. And I remember every day he had this big binder of all these drawings and coloring pages that he made. And every day he'd go through and he would tell me about each one, like the meaning behind it. And it was just so incredible. And so that leads me into what I plan on doing in the future, which I'm planning on studying at Bowling Green State University. And I plan on studying art education and minoring in psychology. And while I'm there, I hope to continue volunteering and keep volunteering after college as well. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Well, thank you, Abby. And your smile is very contagious. Amy, you're right. Okay, well, our next recipient is Alexis Osborne, and she's going to be introduced by Courtney Stahl, an ASL teacher at the high school. Courtney?
Good morning. Good morning, Rotarians. I'm one of the American Sign Language teachers at Hudson High School. Thank you for inviting me today and for awarding Alexis Osborne such a deserving scholarship. I have had the absolute pleasure of being Lexi's teacher for American Sign Language for all 4 years of high school. I've never been able to say that, so it's a unique experience, and I'm so thankful I was able to share that with Lexi. Over the last 2 years, in addition, she's been my peer collaborator, helping younger ASL students who are just beginning to learn the language. Lexi has the capability to make people feel comfortable and willing to ask her questions and help. Not every peer collaborator had that ability, so I truly cherish that about Lexi. In addition, she is a member of American Sign Language Honor Society, and she accrued the most volunteer hours out of all the participants, where she was able to receive the Laurent Claire Medal of Honor. Laurent Claire brought American Sign Language to America and taught countless students ASL. And Lexi has taught countless students ASL. Whether it was high schoolers, preschoolers, elementary school children at story time, the elderly at nursing homes, Lexi was there. She was always the first to volunteer. Another thing that I admire about Lexi is her compassion for people. She does not see a person who's marginalized or a label. She sees them for their uniqueness and their abilities. No matter what, Lex would want them to feel accepted. If someone was in need, she'd be the first to volunteer to help. One example of this is her volunteering at a local restaurant, helping provide vocational training to people with special needs. Her passion for others is contagious, and I absolutely love this about her. Learning American Sign Language is not easy, and she took those 4 years in Hudson High School and embraced them, and is graduating one of my best signers to date. Using ASL in the classroom is one thing, but taking that outside of the walls and using it with native signers is a whole nother ballgame. For example, Lexi embraced this challenge and went to Washington, D.C. with a group of students and me and another teacher to Gallaudet University, which is the only deaf university in the world, where everyone signs. So Lexi jumped out of her comfort zone and enthusiastically into the deaf world. I would say Lexi is a go-getter. We had Ohio School for the Deaf Pen Pals this year, and halfway through the year, we had the opportunity to meet them virtually and have phone chats similar to this Zoom meeting. Instead of talking, she used American Sign Language. I had 11 students, and all of them were so nervous, no one would volunteer to go first. But I could always count on Lexi to volunteer and enthusiastically chat with her friend. When other students were chatting with their Ohio School for the Deaf friends, oftentimes Lexi would be in the background interpreting when the other ASL students struggled understanding the students from Ohio School for the Deaf. I admire her courage and her tenacity for that. I also have the deepest admiration for Lexi's ability to overcome challenges and obstacles that life has put in her path. She's embraced them and didn't let them stop her from doing anything. Lexi has become a role model for all that meet her, and watching her grow from a timid 14-year-old into the young woman that she is today has been the highlight of my teaching career. Lex, as you move into this next stage of life, please know you've accomplished all of these things. Personally, though, you've touched my life and made me a better teacher and person. Congratulations, Lex. I'm truly honored to have been your teacher, and thank you, Rotarians, for selecting Lexi for this scholarship. It will make such a huge difference in her educational pursuits. Now, let me introduce Alexis Osborne.
Hi, thank you, Ms. Stoll, for introducing me, and thank you so much for all the 4 years you taught me. I am forever grateful, and thank you, Rotarians, for this opportunity and the scholarship. It means a lot. So I took ASL for 4 years, and it honestly was like a chance that I didn't even expect. I was planning on signing up for Spanish, actually, and then I saw American Sign Language, and I was like, let's give this a try. And I fell in love with the language. I fell in love with the culture and its people. And it honestly, it just opened my eyes to a whole different set of people. And I'm forever grateful for learning that. I do vocational services for special needs. I grew up with 2 brothers, one who has autism and one who has Asperger's, so they're both on the spectrum. And they also opened my eyes, and I always want to help people who are on the spectrum, especially with vocational services, because they can learn independent skills to live their lives independently, and I think that's amazing that they can learn to do that. So I honestly, I have learned so much about different kinds of people, and it's taught me to be empathetic, and I honestly am forever grateful for all those opportunities that people have given me, whether that's just by chance or by my own choices. I am in Taekwondo. It's a Korean martial arts. I started when I was 14, and then I just recently got my black belt in December 2018. They gave me a job opportunity where I can help assist teaching with little kids, and they also have people who have autism who go to that dojo, and I also help them, teach them how to do forms or spar and take little time so they understand it, also while having fun. So that's just a little bit about me, what I do now. I plan on going to Kent State University. I want to major in criminology and minor in ASL. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I do know that I want to help people. And yeah, that's the plan.
Well, thank you very much, Lexi. And I'm a graduate of Kent State, and I think you will enjoy being a Golden Flash. Okay, our next scholarship recipient is Mike Von Ville, and he's going to be introduced by Mark McConnell, who's a cross-country coach and health teacher. Mark?
Yes, thank you, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me on, and give me the opportunity to share a little bit about Michael Lonville here. He's an amazing young man. He ran for me for 4 years, and he, when I think of Michael, the first thing I think about is determination and leadership. From the very beginning, when I coached Michael, he was unique and different, at times frustrating, especially early on when I didn't know him as well as a freshman. There's something different out of the sport than most others. And it was something that not only myself, but I would even say his parents, in cooperation with me, were trying to figure out what he wanted out of it. And he had a lot of success. We've won 2 state titles since he's been here, and he directly ran on one of them. But he also had a lot of bumps in the road. He ran into some health problems when he was racing, and while that was tough to watch, there was one thing that developed through the years. It got stronger and stronger, and really there was a crescendo his senior year, and that was his leadership. From the beginning, Michael was always very cerebral and thought about the sport in a different way. And that kind of was very fascinating to me. And as he's developed here and he's gone through his troubles, the one thing that he's always wanted to do was help others and be a leader. And as a senior, he was voted a captain, and he was a unanimous voter, winner of our Ray Heiser Sportsmanship Award. And if you know the Ray Heiser Award, I would consider our highest honor in athletics at Hudson to be voted that. And it's something the coaches don't give to the guys. It's something that their teammates vote them for. And the 3 pillars of that award are leadership, pride, and desire. And specifically in the leadership component, it states that a leader tries to share a positive attitude with others and tries to be an example for them. He works at knowing his sport and in helping younger players and the athletes improve and feel a part of the team. And when I talk to the parents of particularly our freshmen and sophomores, the first upperclassman they always mention is Michael, and how he always made everyone feel a part of the team. Cross country is a no-cut sport, and a lot of our athletes are first-time athletes, looking for a place to belong at the high school. And Michael always came up as the first person on the team that these young men met and grew attached to. And it speaks a lot to Michael's openness and friendship to all on the team. We had over 60 boys on the team, and when we voted for Ray Heiser, it was overwhelmingly for Michael. And it's a true tribute to who he is and what he wants to do with life. And he's the first athlete that I would say I've ever coached in the 6+ years I've been at Hudson that I would be honored to have come back and coach for me when he's done with school. He's an unbelievable young man. Every teacher I've talked to that's had him at the high school when I'm doing my PLC in the morning are overwhelmed by Michael's compassion and leadership and maturity. And I think it goes a lot through not only the success he's had, I hope, through cross country, but also the challenges that he's faced, both the physical and mental, and the positive outlook that he's developed through all of the challenges and successes he's had with my program. And I'm honored that you guys and everyone at the club has seen the same from Michael, and it's my honor to introduce Michael Lonville today.
Thank you, Coach McConnell. It was really awesome to have Coach McConnell here as someone who I've worked with for 4 years. Really a unique relationship, and kind of like he alluded to, this year, my senior year, it was almost like sometimes like we were 2 people with 1 brain, kind of just doing the same work with all 60 guys on the team. So it was really awesome to get to work with him, and I'm really glad he could come on and introduce me today. And thank you to the Rotary for the scholarship. It's going to be very helpful for me next year and moving forward. I hope that having some of that money helps me to pursue opportunities coaching. Like some of the struggles I've gone through, some of the highs and some of the lows with cross country. I hope to continue coaching next year. If not next year, then certainly in the future, because of people like Coach McConnell and the other coaches that I've had who have made a huge positive impact in my life, not just with running, but just really, like he was talking about, cross country, a lot of first time athletes, and just trying to help them find a place to belong, trying to give them someone to talk to about really anything, running, school, personal life, anything. That was my goal this year, and that's my goal moving forward. And then next year I'm going to be studying at The Ohio State University. I'm undecided on a major right now, but I want to go on a pre-law track. And that's about all I know about that. So thank you again for the scholarship. I'm sure it'll be very helpful. And thank you, Coach McConnell.
Thank you, Mike. Notice that's the third person who's going to The Ohio State University. Our last recipient is Muskin Single, and she is going to be introduced by Gina Vonville, who is a service learning and English teacher. Gina?
Hi. Yes. Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So this is always my favorite Rotary meeting to attend, like so many of you have talked about, simply because I typically have had the opportunity to know a lot of the students.
Actually, we're still having some audio issues here, Mrs. Von Bill. I don't know if am I the only one hearing that? It's a little static.
No, there's still a little audio. Gina, why don't we move on?
Maybe you can introduce our sixth scholarship winner. Thank you.
Right. Let me introduce the last scholarship winner, because obviously we had audio problems there. This is Muskin Single, and she, I think, is also going to Ohio State. But Muskin, can you hear us? You're up.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Mrs. Vonville, even though I couldn't really hear you, but it was nice to see you. I was really honored to be picked for this scholarship, and it was, as soon as I got the phone call, I ran to my dad. I was super excited. This will really help me in my future goals and what I want to do. I moved here my sophomore year, and Mrs. Vonville was there, and she was kind of the first club, I guess. She was the advisor for the first club that I joined, and she helped me a lot in the past 3 years. She's kind of been like the constant in the 3 years. A lot has changed. I know I've grown as a person. It was a kind of a rough first year, but she helped me all 3 years. She kept me motivated in Model UN, and then I know I would run to her in English last year for all my essay help, and she helped me a ton there. She made me a better writer, and writing something I've struggled with. So she really helped in making high school a lot better than, I guess, for some kids. I don't know. I think I've heard kids say I didn't like school because of my teachers, but I think all my teachers, especially Mrs. Vonville, have made high school a better experience. And thank you all to Rotary for giving me this scholarship. I was in service learning, and I've always been really passionate about service, but where I used to live, there wasn't, I guess, a lot of opportunity. It was kind of a small town, so there wasn't much around. There wasn't a lot to do, I guess. So as soon as I got here, there was so much to do, so many new people to meet, and I really enjoyed meeting new people and doing that through service, and service learning also really helped. I was at Hudson Montessori and Harbor Light Hospice, which are, I guess, two spectrums, and it was really cool to meet new people that way and experience, I guess, new ages and talk to these people and get to really make connections. And it helped me, I guess, pursue my passion of service even more. So for my future plans, I plan to go to the Ohio State University. I plan to continue helping people through pre-med and majoring in math. I'm also going to be a part of the STEM Scholars Program at Ohio State. And then I hope to possibly in the future pursue a career in the medical field. So thank you all.
Well, thank you, Muskin. And you can see why she was so excited. I get the privilege of calling each of these students and informing them that they have won the scholarship. And I'll tell you, it's really neat to see their reactions. So you're a very worthy winner, Muskin, and good luck at Ohio State next year.
Thank you.
Well, that completes our list of 6 scholarship winners for this year. I hope the Rotarians are as proud of them as your selection committee. And I'd like to thank the selection committee, Ron and Catherine and myself. We made the 3 that have been doing this for a number of years. And it's really very rewarding, as you can see.
Dan, can
So
I?
with that, yes.
We have Mrs. Vonville up there, and I want to give her one last shot for a couple minutes because we're not there. How are we doing?
Okay, we're doing great on time.
How's our audio, Mrs. Vonville? Can you want to?
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got a winner.
Okay, we got...
we'll go short because we want to go to Q&A. But any last thoughts? That, I know this was garbled, but here's your time.
Okay, so Muskan, as she mentioned, I've known her for Model United Nations. I knew her last year when she was in English class, and I will just tell one quick anecdote that I think illustrates her commitment to service. This year for her RAK, she chose to, and I know you guys are familiar with the RAK, she chose to honor the sanitation workers in her neighborhood, as well as police officers at the Cleveland Clinic. So she put a note, hand-delivered a note to every person in her neighborhood, asking them to write a note to their sanitation worker. She then went and picked up every note from everyone in her neighborhood and her partner's neighborhood, and then they sat the day before Thanksgiving, waited for the truck to come through each neighborhood, and then hand delivered a basket with the notes from everyone inside their neighborhood. So it was, the amount of time and dedication that project took was amazing. And then she also went down to the Cleveland Clinic and did a similar project with the police officers there, because she had talked to someone who said, a lot of people don't realize what they deal with. There are a lot of campuses where people come in and they have to deal with a lot of issues there. And so I was just so impressed by that project. I was impressed by her work at hospice. Putting a teenager in a hospice site is, so difficult, but she approached it with such grace, and she was so kind and caring to all of the people that she worked with. So I hope that those 2 anecdotes give you a sense of who she is as a person. And I'm just honored to have had such a wonderful relationship with her these last 3 years. So I'm so sad that my speech got cut short, but she's such an amazing person.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Dan, I think we have just a few minutes left, maybe 1 or 2 questions. Everyone put it on gallery view, and if you want to raise your hand, and I'll look for any hands raised of people that might want to pose a question to our amazing scholarship winners.
Donna, let me just mention, as president of the club, I feel in response to what Dan mentioned, I feel on sound ground saying how proud we are of each one of these students and each one of the teacher, mentor, coaches that we have with us today too. We're very fortunate to have such talented people that we've entrusted our children to, and I'm very proud of them as well.
Tom,
yeah, Dan.
Tom, let me just jump in a second, sort of finish it up. I'd really like to thank the teachers for their presentations this morning, getting up, working with the technology. It's a different year, but I appreciate very much what you've done. And I'd like to wish the students good luck in their freshman year.
Absolutely.
Tom, back to you.
Absolutely. And Fatima, Cindy, Mike, and Muskan, you guys need to look out for each other at Ohio State, okay? I know, well, you're going to be doing it maybe from Hudson. I don't know, but nobody knows right now. But keep an eye out for each other over the next 4 years, okay? All right. Other questions, comments from folks?
Don't think we had any questions, so
okay.
It's yours to thank.
If let me mention one other thing tonight is, I think we may have heard about this earlier. It might have been in the hub as well, but tonight is the Be the Light event. So this is an opportunity for Hudson residents to show appreciation for our seniors, our Hudson High School graduating seniors, and the resilience that they've shown through this last quarter of their senior year. And so the students and their families are going to be driving down to Hudson High School tonight and taking a driving tour around the campus. And I think a lot of the teachers and administrators are going to be there to show appreciation for the students and wish them well. And everything will be socially distanced, so don't worry about that. I want to make it clear, the rest of us are not invited to go down to the high school and welcome or to say hello to the students, but I plan to be out at the end of my driveway on Aurora Street with my family tonight with flashlights and welcome them all as they go by on their way to this. This would be at 8 o'clock tonight. If you can turn on your lights, of your house, maybe your street lights or whatever, your whatever front door light, and if you have a flag or something like that, it would be a nice gesture. If you'll indulge me for one more second, we have someone with us today on the regular meeting, my father, Phil Tobin. He is going to be celebrating 60 years of marriage to my mother, Joan Tobin, tomorrow, May 21st. So if you'll all just pass along your best wishes for Phil and Joan 60th anniversary. We wish you the best, Dad. All right. If there's nothing else to talk about, I guess I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming today.